Have you ever seen a character in fiction so relatable that it not only changes the way you view the piece of media, but relationships and even yourself as a whole? Because when I first laid eyes on Persona 4 around 10 years ago, goddamn, I loved his character and everything about him, but he seems to be misunderstood by a vast majority of the fanbase. So to help more people better understand him in a bite-sized format, I decided to do a character analysis and timeline of him. Hello, my beautiful chads and chadettes, and welcome back to another video, where today, I'll be doing whatever the hell I just said, because I said so. Like what? Anyways, just like, subscribe, and enjoy.
Yo, somebody get the door! Beat your eyes off!
Yosuke was born on June 22nd, 1994, in either Kyoto, Osaka, or coastal Tokyo, due to him never experiencing snowfall in a place he's lived in before. Either way, in the Persona 4 prequel manga that I'll cover in just a bit, it's also implied that Yosuke's been moved around different parts of the city that he was raised in every couple of months, or changed cities every couple of months. Meaning that he's rarely had relationships that have stuck very often, and that he's grown up pretty isolated. Now, onto the material that actually shows his life.
Cold wind blows away.
The absolute earliest we see of Yosuke in our little timeline here is Yosuke moving out of his old city, where he's apparently well-liked since the entire class is on his meat, distraught that he's leaving, which is surprising since most of his journey after this will have him mostly be ignored, hated, or feel worthless. Regardless, he hangs out with his original gang of friends one last time before, on the day of his departure, Yosuke's former best friend, who's the person Yosuke primarily misses throughout his early time in Inaba. When he does arrive in Inaba, he bombs in class and looks like an absolute loser, the kind that smears shit pentagrams on the walls and films himself licking it up. Anyways, throughout his early time in Inaba, he finds himself pretty well liked, which is surprising since in the game he's usually just humiliated. So that's 2 times in a row we see Yosuke being liked before the events of the game. Though it could be because the chicks don't hate him yet. However, something does call this into question. During the school festival, he overhears people absolutely shit-talking him, and this makes him rethink his life on the school rooftop, and he's just thinking out loud for some reason. Nevertheless, Saki, I can't say her middle name anymore, Konishi then walks up and tells him not to listen to them, which is ironic considering what'll come up in the future. Regardless, the encounter convinces him that he is the meat stick of steel and motivates him to the absolute point that by the end of the day, even if most people don't like him, they respect him now. Now, aside from confirming that Yosuke likes boys early,
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music,
which is important, this is where the prequel manga and game start adding up, so we're just going to transition to the game segment. When Narukami first meets Yosuke, when he eats shit, in Yosuke's mind, it's actually a tragic moment. See, a few days before, he actually for the first time heard the news of Saki's family hating her for working at Junes and taking work away from their small business. And Yosuke's so caught up in this moment that he rams into a pole. Then he wants Narukami to do the same to him. Oh, it's so fucking peak. Anyways, when Yosuke catches wind of the Dark Hour and apparently everyone at the same time, Yosuke sees Saki on the TV, which makes him happy because the Dark Hour is rumored to show you your true love, but instead he ends up sad when Saki dies. He jumps into a TV, and he's led into a TCAP episode by his own shadow. When in battle with his shadow, his entire worldview is shattered and exposed. He is a person that's hated by most people around him, whether it be adults or younger people. And the sad part is, he doesn't exactly know who, from the pure fact that Saki just fucking hates him. Like literally, his shadow was like a D1 rage baiter because there's no fucking reason for him to have like security camera footage of Saki saying that she hates him. How the fuck did he get this? Anyways, after his shadow's defeated, he seems to fully accept himself, but that's not exactly the case. Throughout the story, beginning to end, after meeting Kanji, he acts almost embarrassed at seeing Kanji or his shadow do things that are either feminine or homoerotic. But the thing is, it's not just Yosuke feeling embarrassed, it's him acting outright homophobic at times, and that brings us to his social link before I move any further. But like, let's just take a brief intermission. I'm coming right back at you with more bars in the motherfucking prison. Thank you, man, for the following. YouTube.com/little bit of a bridging. 300 followers. I love all my fans. Let these bitches eat. Please subscribe. Anyways, during Yosuke's social link, he expresses the feeling of being trapped, suffocated in Inaba that I mentioned earlier. Aside from that, he feels worthless. He's almost jealous of Narukami, but even while being jealous of him, he tries to be on equal standing with him, noticing how women seem to gravitate to him and just feeling empty without that it factor. He wants to be the hero that Narukami is. But as the link goes on, Yosuke's jealousy almost feels like infatuation, and this culminates at rank 10. Look, in the original version of the social link before the game was released, Yosuke was revealed as bisexual and a romance option, though since I'm covering the quote-unquote canon or shown material, it goes down a little differently. I still believe Yosuke's bisexual, but to me, the way I interpreted the story, it seems like he feels like it's almost odd for him. Let me explain. Here in the Lincoln story, he's still attracted to women, whether it be on a deeper level or superficial. We see it tons of times. But he's almost obsessed with being masculine to the point of ragging on Kanji for things that he himself sort of feels, but tries to deny. And it's only through the social link that he himself kind of just can't deny it anymore. Since he can finally attach a face to his feelings, but he saw it as weird, and in the game, it kind of seems like he wants to confess something, but he just never does out of the fear, but he himself finally accepts it now. So, in short,
He's gay.
anyways, after this, Yosuke is a lot more comfortable in his own skin, yet he still doesn't feel totally validated much by his life. This is literally shown every time that he's a dickhead after completing the social link. But towards the very end of the game, he learns for the better, even if he still is flawed, even if he still is shown to be a dickhead. It's not like the craziest extent anymore. He's not being as much of a dick, but he still is. He's still flawed. But still, his growth is shown better in our next section.
Memories it stays.
By the time we reach these next 3 games, there's not much to talk about. So if it sounds like I'm minorly repeating myself, then yeah, okay, I'm just building off of what I added to the last part because, well, yeah, that's kind of what I need to do. So yeah, look, Yosuke has changed for the better and accepted that he's not Narukami, not anyone else, just him. And it's fucking great. He knows he's not Narukami, but people just respect him more for essentially being the new glue of the group alongside Chie and Rize. But that doesn't last too long. Just like all friend groups, they eventually start to grow distant, and he has to accept it. Even if he as a character started on this very timeline by feeling lonely, it's happened again, but this time he's grown for the absolute better. And last we hear of Yosuke, he's soon to be off to college, likely to be the manager of Junes, and Mitsuru invites him to the fucking Avengers Initiative. What I really like about Yosuke is that he feels real. After most social links, the characters just, I don't know, kind of feel stale and perfect. But Yosuke is really flawed. Even when he does grow and change, he can still be insensitive while also being good and realistic and relatable. That's what I find so compelling. He can get jealous, he can be a jerk, but he can still do great things and be a better person. Anyways, it's been your Hispanic Pappy Merrick, and signing off. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and don't ask stupid questions like, did Yosuke tap Chie? Or why does Merrick find Yosuke so relatable?
He's gay.